My friends at Easy Cater are workplace catering pros, helping you find food for everything from daily employee meals to staff meetings and special events. Visit easycater.com/leaderassistant to find out more.
Hi there, my name is Suzie from Suzie Flynn Coaching. I'm an ex-assistant of 22 years turned mindset and business coach, helping executive assistants build their virtual assistant business. My favorite leadership quote is, "The best leaders have a high consideration factor. They really care about their people," by Brian Tracy.
The Leader Assistant podcast exists to encourage and challenge assistants to become confident, game-changing leader assistants.
Thank you for listening to the Leader Assistant podcast.
Hey friends, thanks for tuning in to episode 115. You can check out the show notes at leaderassistant.com/115. I just wanted to invite you also to check out our upcoming events schedule at leaderassistantlive.com. That's leaderassistantlive.com. We have a couple of events coming up in the next couple of months, so be sure to check out the details. Some of them are for premium members only, but some of them are also open to anyone who would like to join us. So leaderassistantlive.com. Keep an eye out for upcoming events. We are always adding more. So hope you can join us, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Leader Assistant podcast. Today I'm speaking with Suzie Flynn. Suzie, how's it going?
Yeah, good, Jeremy. Really good to be here. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do what you do.
Okay, so probably best to give you a little bit of background as to what got me to where I am today. So I worked as a personal and executive assistant in corporate London for 22 years, and basically worked my way up from secretary to PA to EA. And I kind of fell into the role in some respects because when I was 16, my dad, he gave me an ultimatum and he said, "You have 2 years extra education, then out to work." And as a young girl of age 16, I didn't really know at the time what I wanted to do. But I had learned to type at school and I quite enjoyed it for some reason. And my mum looked after my dad's family business. He was a plumber. And I kind of just went on from there. I did a business administration, NVQ, and then fell into the role, went into London. And just it went on from there. I went from being a secretary to PA to EA in all sorts of different industries, from property and finance, from small companies of 45 people to big FTSE 100 companies. And then in 2013, unfortunately, that was quite a tough year for me, and I lost my parents 6 months apart. My employer at the time were not that supportive, and they actually put me through a disciplinary for poor performance about 7 weeks after my mum passed away. So after I lost my dad, I just saw it as an opportunity, really. I saw it as an opportunity to really think about what did I want to do. And I always knew from a very, very young age I wanted to help people. And I knew I was doing that in my role as an assistant, but it felt like I wanted to make a deeper impact. And that was when I first came across coaching. So fast forward a few years, I trained as a personal performance coach with the Coaching Academy. I went on to do other trainings, also a Reiki master. And in 2017, I launched my coaching business and am now niche in helping assistants build their own virtual assistant business, which, in the world that we're living in, has quite a lot of interest in that area. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and how I got to where I am.
Wow, that's great. So you have a ton of assistant experience, and then you kind of jumped into the virtual world and coaching. Why, let's talk about coaching for a second. Why should someone work with a coach?
Because I think it allows them to see their blind spots, things that they're not seeing, and it allows them to get outside of their comfort zone and actually take action in the direction that's going to really bring their dreams to reality. Because often we don't ask the questions that a coach or someone else will ask us because we don't know what the questions are. And I think I would believe that having a coach will really help someone who's looking to shift from an assistant to a virtual assistant really like know what's possible. So some of the results that I see from my clients are just a huge shift in confidence alone, ditching the imposter syndrome. And I see them move on and get their own clients and have that freedom and autonomy. And just having someone that's got a different perspective, having someone that's going to coach them, challenge them, and hold them accountable to thinking in a way that they perhaps never have done before is quite eye-opening for them. And they can start to create shifts in their life and in their mindset that they wouldn't have been able to have done otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I think coaching, in my opinion, I think coaching is more helpful than mentorship. I think mentorship can kind of be more of an informal, casual relationship where one person is trying to, advise them. But I think coaching is a little more direct and like, listen, I'm going to help you get from this point to this point. And that's what our relationship is. And so, yeah, I'm a fan of coaching. I do coaching myself and have found value from having coaches in my life as well.
Fantastic. And I'd have to agree there with what you're saying regarding mentoring and coaching. I feel that coaching really allows us to work with a client and really like empower them to find their own answers and to not just constantly rely on others, but just to really empower them and actually move into having your own business as a virtual assistant or otherwise. You have to lead every day. You have to be the leader in your business and you have to show up for your own clients. So yeah, I think it's hugely powerful.
So let's talk a little bit about the shift from executive assistant or in-office assistant to remote executive assistant or virtual assistant. Why would somebody consider that? Why should they consider that change in their world?
Good question. Thank you, Jeremy, for asking that. And I think there's so many different reasons, but there's different reasons. And often what I hear is that people want to be their own boss. They want more freedom, more autonomy, more flexibility. They feel like sometimes that they've done their career for, X number of years like I had, and they've got to a point in their life where they want to do something different. They want to offer value in a different way and often on their terms. Some of the clients I work with are mums, so they want to be able to be at home when the kids arrive home or do the school pickup and be more present as a parent. But just ultimately, like one of the things I hear a lot is they want to do something for themselves because as we know, being an assistant, we are always putting the executive first. Like we were making sure the executive gets everything they need. And it's a wonderful role. But what I hear is that assistants feel like, well, I've done this for 20, 30 years. I want to do something for myself. I want to have more freedom, more flexibility. I want to have the ability to design my day the way that I want to run it. And it really does give them the autonomy in terms of who they work for and the hours they work and the prices they get to charge for their services.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. A lot of people will say, yeah, I want the freedom. I want a little more control. And then, I've experienced this in my past, and then I know other assistants have experienced it as well. But basically, they go out and they try to be a VA, and they get some clients, and they realize they need to have more clients. They realize it's difficult to find clients. And then next thing you know, they're like, all right, I've got this VA business, but, I've got 6 bosses now instead of 1. And if I lose 1 or 2 of these clients, bosses, then I can't afford my health insurance. So how do you encourage kind of that shift from employee to business owner? And can you give some honest truth to what that role really is like for those who are maybe romanticizing the VA role?
Yeah, let's take some romance out of that. Look, I'm going to be honest, Jeremy, and with your audience, like building a business is hard work and you've got to really, really want it. And I always refer to the book by Simon Sinek. I'll start with why, because I think it's so important that you're clear on why you're building a business, because as as with anything in life, there are going to be ups and there are going to be downs. Some days are going to go really well, and some days you're going to be working really late. And yes, a client will finish with you, but if you're clear on how you market your services and you stay consistent with marketing your services, then yes, you can keep getting the clients in. What can happen is that we see in business, and I've experienced it myself, where we go through the peak and trough, and a virtual assistant or any business owner will be like, okay, I'm fully booked, I can relax now, I don't need to market my business. But to be honest, sales and marketing is the lifeblood of any business. It doesn't stop. As you grow and scale your business, obviously you can outsource things. You can, hire associate VAs. You can hire a social media manager, etc. But it doesn't stop. So I think like the mindset is recognizing that marketing is going to be part of your business, ongoing, going forward. It doesn't stop, because if you stop marketing, then and you're not building that pipeline, then you're not going to get, clients in when a client leaves. So I would just say keep being consistent, keep showing up, keep building your brand. And there will be tough days. Absolutely. Like I definitely have tough days in my business, and just throw a pandemic in and it definitely doesn't help. But start with understanding your why, what your purpose is, and keep being consistent in your marketing, keep showing up, keep building, being visible, and just keep connecting with your why. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit, Jeremy.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, if you don't want to be in sales and marketing, then this is going to be a tough transition for you.
But also like sales, as I've said to clients and people that I've spoken to, assistants, sales is just a human conversation. It's just an exchange of ideas. And sales is service. Sales is service. It's not that traditional mindset and vision of the icky, pushy car salesman. It doesn't have to be that. Sales is about service. Sales is about helping someone achieve their dreams. So there's a little bit of a mindset shift there in terms of what sales and marketing is.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about working remotely. What are kind of your maybe what's the top challenge that your clients have and you have working remotely, and then what are maybe your top one or two tips, hacks, if you will, for working from home?
Yeah, I think the challenges can be dependent on your circumstances. So for me, I live on my own. So the challenges are like, unless I pick up the phone or send someone a voice note, I'm not going to speak to anyone. So I make it my purpose to get out for a walk at least once a day, speak to my local community and engage and interact. So I would just definitely say make sure that you speak to people, but also make sure that, you are someone that can work at home, that you're going to be okay in that working environment. Other challenges are, of course, when you've got a family, you've got young kids, if they're being homeschooled, that comes with its own challenges. So find out what is a good working environment for you, and things are now opening up. So it may be that you want to be partially working at home, partially working or at a coffee shop or a sort of social working space like we work in the UK. Find out what works for you. But I'd also say focus on your self-care, because it's so easy, having done this myself, it's so easy to get up, start the work day, not take a lunch break, and the next thing you know it's 9:30 and you're just off to brush your teeth and off to bed. Your brain needs time for recovery. So really allow yourself to slow down, to speed up, and really give yourself the breaks. Make sure you move your body every hour. Make sure you give yourself a lunch break. Get out of the home or wherever you are that you're working, and create a good bedtime routine. Now, I shut down my tech 2 hours before bed. I unwind, I read, because as a business owner, it's not the same as working for someone else. When you finish at a certain time, you get the train home, if you're obviously working in an office, or you switch to another room, you need time to switch off. So having a self-care routine, I think, is definitely key. So find out what works for you, what environment works for you, and just make sure you take a break from the screen, because when we slow down, we actually speed up. We are not going to be productive. We are not going to grow our business. We are not going to do such a good job and we're constantly pushing, we need to take a break and give ourselves time for recovery so that we can actually come back stronger the next day.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you communicate typically or recommend your VA clients communicate to their executives, to their clients, boundaries? So, are you pretty strict on, hey, I'm available from this hour to this hour. I'm not available on this day. Does it depend on the client? How does that usually work with contracts with clients?
So for me as a coach in my contract with my clients, so I set the boundaries right from the beginning because I think that was one of the learning lessons that I made right at the beginning of my coaching business. I had, occasional clients messaging me on Facebook or dropping me an email. So now I give them access to a private Slack channel and they have access to a private Google Drive folder with their workbooks. And I make it really clear in the welcome pack what my hours are that I'm available for clients between 9 and 6:30 and not available at the weekend. I will come back on a Monday. And I think it's really, really important to set those boundaries. And this is something that I talk to my clients about as they set up their business, because they're so used to having the boundaries set for them in terms of they go into the office, these are the hours they work, this is their job description, etc. But I remind them that it's their business, it's their choice. Like often clients don't want to work on a Friday and they'll do their own business admin. But I always say to them, like, get clear on what you do want and what you don't want. What are your non-negotiables and what are you not willing to tolerate? And set your boundaries right from the beginning. And I think that can be quite scary for my clients initially because they are so used to the employment business model where the boundaries are set for themselves. But with the right support and mindset shift, they realize that, yes, they are a virtual assistant. Yes, they are a business owner, and that they can set boundaries on what is acceptable and what's not. And it comes down to also choosing their clients. Like, I don't work with everyone. If they're not the right fit for my program, I won't invite them in. And I say the same to my clients. Like, you've got to make sure that it's the right fit for both you and the client.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's all about setting expectations.
Definitely.
Up front, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, so if I'm listening to you right now and I'm, driving to my office job and I'm thinking, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm ready to move on to the virtual world and I'm ready to find clients and start a virtual assistant business. What's kind of step 1 and 2 as far as finding clients?
Finding clients, so that's something that comes up a lot. The 2 questions that come up the most from assistants that I speak to is how to get started. They fall into overwhelm, and how to get clients. So I really think about, first, like, what is your why? Like, why do you want to build your business? Like, be absolutely sure that this is what you want to do, not that you've just had a bad day and you're like, oh, I'm going to build a business. Because building a business, it's not a hobby. It's something that you work, with and in every day. So I would say get clear on what your why is for why you're starting your business, and then start thinking about who you want to work for, because it's a bit different, as I say, to the employment model where when you're a business owner, you get to decide, and I say this a lot, you get to decide, you have that choice as to who you want to work for. So I've worked with various different clients and they've chosen different niches. I've had one client focus on well-being coaches because it aligns with her values. But I'd really say get clear on what you're passionate about. Like, is it a specific industry like tech or coaching? What is it that you love to offer as a service? One of my clients focused more around the project and event management because that lights her up. So really think about what you enjoy doing, who you'd like to support, and then start to do your research. Start to do your research and start finding out what people are struggling with. Like, go onto Facebook groups, go onto LinkedIn, add connections, do your research, and really get to understand your client's language. In fact, one of the things I have my clients do is to actually reach out to their ideal client and invite them for a coffee chat or, send them a questionnaire. But a coffee chat is brilliant. And with permission, ask to record that, because understanding the specific language that a VA's ideal client is speaking was really going to help inform in their marketing. So really understand what problem your ideal client has and what the solution is. Like, yes, you want to give them back time, but what are they going to do with that time? Is it that they want to spend more time with their family? Is it that they want to spend more time scaling and growing their business? Is it they want to scale back in their business and do 4 days in their business instead of 5? So get clear on who you want to help, how you want to help them, what problem you want to solve for them, and start doing the research, connecting with them, arranging coffee chats, and really get clear on all of that. And then at that point, you can start going out, adding value and letting people know who you are, how you can help them, what problem you can solve for them. Because people, do business with people. They do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So don't be afraid to share personal aspects about yourself, about your journey. And again, it's really up to you how much you share. But as I say, people, your clients will really want to get to know, like, and trust you. And one of the ways to do that is to share some of the things that you're up to, share your values, share your journey, share why you want to set up a virtual assistant business, and people will follow. I've had clients following me for anything from 3 or 4 months to 3 years before they've come to me and said, I want to book a call and find out more about how you can help me. So just keep building the relationships and nurturing them, and, till they get to a point where they invest time or money with you.
Yeah. So speaking of money, how do you price your services? Well, you've got some clients, you've got some people interested. What's kind of some guidance for those looking to not undercharge and who are also afraid to scare people away if they overcharge?
Yeah, see, money mindset is a funny one, and I've worked through this with a lot of clients in terms of their fear of, like, well, I don't want to charge too much. And I've got one lovely client who's charging £10 an hour because she doesn't, she's scared that she's going to lose that client. But money is very much related to self-worth, Jeremy. So it's about stepping into owning what we are able to offer. And it's also really about understanding what you need to bring in every month. Like, what's your basic income that you need to cover the bills, the basics, like the rent or the mortgage, the food and the utilities. And then from that, figure out your second figure, which is what you want to earn. That's what you want to earn to live the lifestyle that you want to have. So based on that, you can work out an hourly rate, because you don't want to be charging £10 an hour or, £100 an hour. You want to get clear on what you need to earn, because at the end of the day, you're a business owner. As long as you're providing value, which I know that all my clients provide enormous value because they've been an assistant for 10, 20, 30 years plus. So just be aware of your mindset, and when you're going into fear and telling yourself that story that, oh my God, my clients won't pay me £30 an hour. Think back to all the years of experience, the training, everything that you have accumulated over the years, and factor that into your prices, but basically make sure that you cover what you need to earn each month, if not the want to earn figure, so that you get enough in your business. And most of the time, or all the time, that works out, depending on the client, somewhere between 25 or £35, because obviously I'm in the UK, an hour. Obviously, you can then look at retainer clients and offer your clients like a 10 or 20 or 30-hour package, for example, per month. And then with the view that the more hours they invest with you each month, you reduce it, say, by £1 per hour. So it wouldn't be £30, it may be £29 for a 10-hour, £28 for 20-hour, and £27 for the 30 hours a month. And what this does is it incentivizes your client, because actually they're saving a little bit of money. But what it does for the virtual assistant is that it means they've got a consistent income coming in as a recurring, revenue each month. And often clients of VAs will start on the lower end package, and as they see the value of a virtual assistant in their business, they will typically start to increase the amount of hours they use.
Okay, awesome. Great. Well, Suzie, that's a lot of information to kind of process and unpack. And before we kind of wrap things up, I wanted to ask one more question. I typically ask this to my guests. What makes an assistant a leader?
Such a great question. For me, the word that comes to mind is compassion. Compassion for yourself, compassion for others. Because understanding that, one, we are going through a pandemic. It hasn't gone away. It's still very much there. So just having compassion and being kind to yourself and leading from a place of compassion. Because if you're just working all the time and you're not being kind to yourself, you're not being compassionate to yourself as a leader or compassionate to those that you support, then there isn't really room for growth. So I think compassion and kindness are huge elements and such important factors around being a good leader.
Great. Well said. I agree. Well, Suzie, thanks for taking time out of your day to share with us. How can people reach out to you and get connected with you? Where can they find you online?
Okay, so I spend most of my time on LinkedIn, so you can find me at Suzie Flynn, so it's Suzie Flynn. Suzie Flynn. I have a Facebook page at Suzie Flynn Coaching. Otherwise, you can visit my website at www.suzieflynn.com.
Awesome. Well, I'll share those links in the show notes so people can reach out. And yeah, thanks again. Best of luck to you, and we will talk soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeremy. That's great.
Please review on Apple Podcasts. GoBulls.com